party is finally in the Feywild, guys. Finally. We're there. We're doing stuff. We're running around. Let's see how it goes. Is there anything you want to do before you leave?
Try and find the man and give his watch back.
Oh, okay. Try and find Mr. Witch. All right. So after you go back to towards the big top, you find him standing there with Mr. Light outside the main tent. And as you kind of walk up towards them, they say, "Ah, the monarch, deserving of the title. You had brought much joy to this carnival. I hope you find what you seek beyond the veil."
I don't know so much if I am deserving of the title, and then pull the watch out from my back pocket and hold it up.
He holds his Mr. Witch holds his palm out, and he just says, "Yes, an unfortunate turn of events that led to this situation. However, the weather vane does not lie. It can't lie." And he just holds his hand out.
Yeah, just gonna give him the watch and sheepishly run away.
All right. As you place the watch in his hand, he just looks at you and just watches you.
To yell, "I'm sorry" as I'm running. Sorry.
He just keeps watch. Doesn't say anything.
You creepy.
Well, a little. Alright, so you make your way back to the Hall of Illusions. Anyone else got anything else they want to do before departing?
Actually, hold on. I need to know something.
Uh-huh.
What happened?
What do you need? What do you need to know?
I need to buy 3 tickets worth of food before we leave.
Oh, okay. You want to spend the rest of the tickets?
Yeah.
Alright.
Hell yeah.
What are you going to spend them on? Roll me like 3d8, I guess, and we'll see what you get. Carnival locations. There we go. Okay, 4, 3, and a 7. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4. You get some more evening berry wine. You get a Euphoria cookie, which is a saucer-sized cookie dusted with particles of fairy dragon euphoria gas, which just make you happy and giddy. And then you get a sugar glazed button mushrooms.
Ooh.
Yeah.
24 stamps worth. Oh,
Of food? Really?
well, he's got 3 tickets left. Or did you mean 3 stamps?
3 stamps.
3 stamps
For the
left.
ticket,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Not
I was
3
gonna say,
tickets.
I thought
That's
you had 3 whole
insane.
ass tickets left.
No.
Would not surprise me. Those
That
would be
would-
like
I mean, yeah.
stash them all.
Stashing them away. That's pretty funny. Okay. Alright, so you get your last little bits of food in. And you've kind of stuffed some of them in your pockets. And you make your way towards the Hall of Illusions. You get there and you see Ykika just kind of like stamping his hoof. Or tapping his hoof, rather. Just waiting impatiently. Nightshade kind of fluttering about. And Alex is there, changed into the form of a crotchety old woman. And the rest of you make your way into the hall, and you see yourselves again as you pass by the mirrors. The younger years, as you move through the hall. You get a sense of nostalgia looking at yourself kind of sideways in your peripheral vision. Trying not to pay too much attention, and walking towards the back of the hall, and you find yourself standing in front of a mirror that appears to show just your current reflection. And you remember that there is an incantation that you need to say in order to open the portal to the Feywild. Does anybody actually remember it, or do I need to remind you? Was it on the party notes? It was not. Did you have it marked down?
Hither, here and there. Wander yonder. Show me where.
That's the one.
Brought up in chat.
Yeah, that's the one. All right. So as you speak the incantation, Viriah, the mirror in front of you starts to swirl in a deep kind of bluish black color, and you feel a slight gravitational tug towards the mirror. It's not strong enough to pull you in, but it's like feels like a kind of like a sucking sensation. Who's going first?
Definitely not rude.
Silence. Everybody's scared shitless.
I'm scared of the gravity mirror.
Bruce is the type to like watch.
Guy will go, but he's a wizard.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be the first one through the wall, through the portal.
Ykika's like, fine, I'll go first, and he just walks through it. And you just see, as soon as he kind of like puts his hand in, he goes, "Ugh," and he looks like he's getting pulled through by something. And he gets sucked into the mirror. And you hear a very sharp little, like a popping sound.
Okay. Guy will go next.
All right, Guy, you walk in, and do you put your hand in first to kind of feel, or do you put your foot in, or you just stride straight through?
Yeah, he just strides through.
Okay, you just stride through, and you see for a second Guy's like confidently walking towards there, and then as he gets like just over the threshold of the portal, it looks like he gets pulled by the chest and gets yanked into the portal.
Well, that looks painful, but I suppose she'd probably go in now.
All right, Viriah, you kind of, I guess, very, very, very carefully. Do you like dip your toe in, kind of like dipping your toe?
Kind of like reach for, like just touch it with the tip of her finger.
Just touch it with your finger, and you feel the sucking, but it doesn't quite suck you in all the way. With just the tip of your finger in.
I slowly go.
Slowly put the hand in, and it feels like. It doesn't feel like a hand grabbing around your wrist, but it feels like something wraps around and kind of like yanks you through. And again, you hear that little popping sound as you pass over the threshold. And Alex just says, "All right, I'll go, fine," and just kind of walks in. And very similar thing happened. And Nightshade kind of like flutters into it off the ground. And you see Nightshade kind of get. Rouge, as you're the only one left now, you see Nightshade kind of get like twisted around slightly as they move through the veil.
That was creepy.
And again, you hear that very little popping sound. Rouge, you're the last one to pass through.
I turn around and walk away.
Turn around and walk away. All right. You can stay at the carnival for a little while.
Question, did we actually get our stuff back, or?
What stuff?
The stuff that was stolen? Or lost?
No. You found out, actually.
No, I completely...
Yeah, sorry. So you found out, what happened is you went to the carousel and you repaired the carousel for the person that was there. And when you repaired the carousel by rewriting all of the names of the unicorns, through a nice little puzzle that was there, the unicorns essentially told you that the things you had stolen or lost were taken by the hags of the Hourglass Covens, like what would you call them? Not spy, like agents, I suppose. When you were young and you snuck into the carnival without a ticket, if you don't have a ticket while you're in the carnival, they basically have free reign to take things from you, and they took something from you, and the thing that they took back to the coven. And so whatever you are missing, one of the hags has.
Okay.
So you know it's in the Feywild somewhere.
Cool.
Yes. So you step through the portal?
I do.
All right. You step in, and again, you feel this yanking sensation. And now that you're all kind of in there, you all feel like you're free falling. And you very quickly feel water kind of pass you by. And it's like it's raining, and it's kind of spattering on you, but you're falling at the same time. It's a very weird sensation, and you smell the kind of wet, earthy smell as you kind of feel a bit of a jolt, and you don't feel this kind of sense of vertigo anymore. And you're sitting on stone, like wet stone, and you all kind of make it to your feet, and your butts are all a little bit wet, and you realize now that you have arrived in the Feywild. You open your eyes and you see just around you you're standing at the edge of a raised and broken causeway under a hazy twilight sky. And the causeway, which is built from pale stones that glow faintly from within, towers over the surrounding landscape. But there's large sections of it that have crumbled away. And the parts that remain in place are separated by large gaps where the portions have collapsed. A fog-shrouded swamp spreads out below you in all directions, and up from it its murk wafts the smell of rotting plants. And also rising from the swamp is the music of nature, a discordant symphony of croaking frogs and singing birds. So you are right here on this left-hand side, this kind of bluish looking causeway.
You said we're on it, or
yeah, you're on it. You're like sitting on top of it. It's about 20 feet wide, and as you kind of look over the edge, you see it is it's very high above the swamp. It's about 100 feet above the swamp. You can see patches of the swamp like through the fog, but there's still a pretty thick fog that is kind of blanketing the majority of the swamp.
Alright guys, how do we get it down?
As you're kind of looking around for a way to get down, you see in the distant sky, you see there's a great balloon made of patchwork material. It starts spinning out of control as though it's been punctured, causing the wicker basket that hangs from it to like swing wildly back and forward. And the balloon plunges out of sight and into the fog, about a mile away from where you are.
Well, that was weird.
I think I can get us down from here, but
Roll me a
like using
roll me a perception check. Okay, so you look around on the causeway itself, and you do see there are some handholds and footholds that kind of like lead down to where there are these like giant mushrooms that are like sticking out of the ground. Oh, this is what you see actually, sort of. Oh, actually, no, that's kind of not really what you see. Hold on, let me see if I can find better one. No, that's not the right one. Okay, it doesn't have a better art handout that's a little bit less revealing right now, so. But yeah, you do see some handholds and footholds that are carved into the pillars that lead down to the mushrooms. But that's about all you see.
So I guess we're going down.
I guess so. If there's nothing else you want to do up here.
Is there anything else up here
Not
apart
that,
from?
not that you can really see. The causeway kind of like ends at both ends, and you're kind of like just sort of stuck up here.
Well, I can get us down a relatively quick way, but we could also climb.
Yeah, you think if you like the handholds and footholds aren't like few and far between. There's a fair amount of them, and you figure you can get down without really having to like secure yourself to the point where you think you might fall. Like there's enough of them where you can probably pretty easily climb down to get to the mushrooms. And then once you're at the mushrooms are large. These things are like 20 feet in diameter, and you can just like kind of stand on them pretty easily, you imagine. Nightshade just like looks at you all and is like, well, I'm just gonna like fly down to the bottom, so I'll see you guys down there.
I'm just gonna lean over the edge yelling after it. That's cheating!
He's like, I know.
Well, I think we should start climbing, and if someone falls, I'll fix it.
Okay. All right. Everybody, roll me an athletics check.
I'm assuming there's like rope in a burglar's pack,
Yeah, there's like rope in every pack, I think, except for maybe the diplomat's one.
or like I don't know. Is there like a grappling hook or something?
In the burglar's one, there might be. Yeah, it could be.
1,000 ball bearings, 10 feet string, a bell, 5 candles, crowbar, hammer, 10 pythons, hooded lantern, 2 flasks of oil, 5 days rations, tinderbox, water skin, rope.
Okay, no grappling hook.
No grappling hook, but you could always like, yeah, you could always like tie a python and tie the rope on if you want to, but I don't know how you get your rope back off the python.
I'm gonna need like a way to use mage hand.
Yeah, you can. Go.
Just to retrieve my pythons and my grappling hooks.
Oh, I don't know if Mage Hand will be able to get pythons out. Maybe.
Not if they're like embedded in.
All right. So Viriah, no. So who we got? Guy, you slip for a second, but you don't fall.
Okay.
The DC is
He
super.
goes much slower after that.
Yeah, the DC is super low because you guys found the handholds and footholds, which are also like basically obvious.
Sorry, what are we rolling?
Athletics to climb down.
I was like, where is climb?
Yeah, you're fine too. You two slip. Like the outside of this stone has kind of got some grime and dirt and stuff on it, and as you kind of like putting your foot on one of the holds, as you kind of like shift your weight onto that foot, it kind of slips a little bit, but you still got your hands firmly planted on some handholds, so you don't fall, but your foot slips off and you catch yourself, and you're like, all right, it's very slippery, just got to be more careful. And you guys make it down to the bottom. Ykika too slowly kind of like lowers himself down, has a little bit less of a grip with his hoofs, but he's careful. And everybody makes it down to the bottom of the swamp, and as you do, sticky mud squelches beneath your feet. And as you reach the ground, tangled mangroves grow out of pools of rippling water, half hidden by the thick fog. And purple mushrooms cling to rotting logs and stumps scattered throughout the marsh. Crickets that glow like fireflies chirp serenely before they're snatched out of the air by tongues of hungry frogs. And you see a giant crane just standing there and looking at you. And then it abruptly flies off. And as it's flying, you hear some voices coming from out of the fog. You're not quite sure what direction. And you hear a marching song, and the singing grows louder and louder, as eventually you see 6 bipedal rabbits wearing clothing. emerge from the fog, and 2 of them tug at the reins of a giant snail, and the others are carrying clubs and slings. And you hear them singing, "With sticks and stones, we'll break your nose, we'll beat you blind and steal your clothes, but none among us can compare to one wily, swift, and stand-up hare. Scarf that's glorious, thief notorious, his deeds are truly meritorious. With a wink and a grin he'll show you his cunning, a flash of his scarf he'll take off running. Quick as a bolt his long scarf is trailing, gasping, grasping, you'll end up flailing. You'll pout, you'll moan, you'll huff, you'll sneer, thanks to Agdon Longscarf, brigand, prince of Prismere." And they approach you, and they all look at you, and they say, one of them, rather, as they stop singing, she waves her hand to stop them singing, and she introduces herself. She walks up to you and she says, "I'm Jebik. This is a robbery. If you resist, we'll beat you black and blue."
Sorry, how many of them are there?
There's 6 of them. Give me a sec. I might have a thing for this. Oh yeah, I've got a thing for this. There we go.
Guy immediately casts Mage Armor.
Okay.
What was the name of Jebik?
Jebik.
Sorry, Miss Jebik, but my friend here, and points at Ykika, he really doesn't like robberies, so I don't want him to hurt you, so maybe you guys should just keep singing that way.
She looks up and down at Ykika, and she looks up and down at you, and she just kind of grins and just says, "You don't look like you got much, but I tell you what, I'll let you off easy." She turns around, and she is handed like a gourd, a big kind of like clay gourd with a stopper on it, and she looks around to you and she says, "Why don't you think about this for me? Why don't you think about something that you remember that made you really happy? Something that delighted you when you were given the best gift you've ever received. Think about that feeling for me, and come step up to the gourd, and we'll call it even."
Don't know if I want anything to do with this.
I feel like Ykika would probably just be like, "Fuck that," and try and like intimidate them somehow, maybe.
That's what I was trying to do, but I didn't even get to roll.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're a tiny little rabbit.
I wasn't using myself as the intimidation purpose. I was saying,
Alright.
like, my friend's gonna snap you in half if you try this.
Alright, Ykika kind of like tries to intimidate them. You can try too, as well, actually, if you like. Roll me intimidation. Is that Carmen San Diego?
It is 100% Carmen San Diego.
Awesome. I'm just glad I recognize it. Okay, so you like back up Ykika as he's like, "Hell no," and they all kind of look at you, and they're like, "All right, okay, look, we'll keep going, but we'll let you off with a warning this time. Next time we see you, we're gonna take your joy. That's how this place works. All right, boys, let's move on out." And they kind of turn around, and they're like, yeah, we'll get you next time, yeah, you better watch out, yeah." And Jebik's like, "Come on, let's keep moving." And they kind of, the 2 on the back of the giant snail kind of whip the reins, and it kind of reels up for a second as it starts sliding through the marsh. And they're kind of like keeping an eye on you, making sure you don't get any closer while they're moving away. And eventually, after they get about 50 feet or so away, the fog kind of like surrounds them again as they move, and you kind of you can't see them anymore, but you can hear them singing that song again. They're singing it, singing back to themselves again. And as you feel kind of like, I guess you feel kind of like proud to stand up for yourselves. You see some clouds. You see some clouds above you that are shaped like hearts. It's kind of weird, but you see some heart clouds in the sky.
I rub my eyes.
You rub your eyes and you look back up again, and they're gone.
Did they try to rob us of our joy?
It certainly seemed that way. Yes.
I was like, well, that was interesting. Now what?
Well, you're down in the marsh, and you don't really have a bearing unless,
No, a guy just says that. He has no, quibbles about whether anybody else has an idea or not. He's just stating it.
You do notice that, as you're kind of like standing down here now too, that, this thick, sticky mud that is the exposed swamp bottom is like really kind of like it's hard to walk through, and this is difficult terrain.
I'm just gonna climb on the Minotaur shoulder.
Right, you jump up on the Minotaur shoulder.
This is like belly deep mud for me, probably.
It's not that deep. It's just sticky and like hard to walk through.
So it'll be like over your knees.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's kind of up, it kind of comes past your ankle and up towards your knee, yeah. For everybody else, it encompasses, it covers your foot, but like every time you got to pull your foot out, it's a slog. It's a real big effort, and you just hear this big squelching sound every single time you step back into the mud again. And it smells pretty bad.
Guy turns to Holy Bell and says, "You're from this general area. What's a good direction to go?"
She kind of looks around and she's like, well, I mean, I'm not from this specific realm of the Feywild, but the Feywild is tricky in that even if you try and get somewhere, it puts you where you need to go, not always where you want to go. So I mean,
let's just go.
We can just go. Or didn't you see a balloon fall out of the sky somewhere?
Oh, right. That was in... He points in what he thinks is the correct direction, and that
Okay.
way?
That way? It's as good as direction as any, says Nightshade. And it's about this time that you feel around you the mud is kind of growing a little bit more watery, and you notice the water level around you in the swamp is kind of slowly starting to rise. And I need anybody, you guys choose between yourselves to roll me a d8, please.
I guess I'll volunteer.
Okay. An 8. All right. As you're walking, and the water level starts to slowly kind of rise, you come across a bog that looks like it was a battlefield of some kind, ages and ages and ages ago. It's got broken armor and weapons, and there's bones of dead humanoids there. And you see some suits of armor that look like they were elven design, and you also see these helmets with like stylized sort of owl heads on them. And the water level is kind of creeping up now. It's almost about a foot deep. And as you're kind of trudging through the battlefield, these two suits of armor shift and slowly kind of like rise out of the mud.
Are they supposed to do that?
I ducked behind Ykika.
Probably not.
Ykika's like, I don't know. It's elven armor. It's probably special.
Not taking any chances.
So, do you kind of move towards the armor, or do you want to move away from it?
It depends where Ykika's going. I'm going with
Yeah,
Ykika.
it's still about like 30 feet in front of you.
Maybe just stay low and see what they do?
Okay. So I guess Ykika and who else is at the front? Like, probably.
I'm on his shoulders.
Yeah, either maybe Nightshade is. Maybe she's at the front.
I'm like stuck to Ykika's back. Like,
Yeah. I'm guessing Guy's like kind of like
Guy's a wizard. He knows not to move in.
Yeah, he's standing up at the side too. So you notice as Ykika moves forward, the armor sort of mimics his movement. So if he kind of takes one step to the left, it takes one step to the right. So it's like mirroring him.
circle around it.
Have a dance off.
Have a dance off.
Guy's like, well, this should be easy to avoid.
So you kind of like, yeah, how do you guys do it? Do you just kind of like circle around so they go to the opposite side of you?
I'm gonna flip.
Flip over the top of it?
No, I'm gonna like backflip in a circle, like sort of. Okay, bear with me.
Okay.
Gonna go in, like in a circular motion,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna do it while flipping.
You're gonna do it while flipping. Okay, roll me an acrobatics check. All right, so they're essentially mirroring your movements. So you're gonna try and like backflip around, place.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you easily backflip. Or I should say easily. Not true. You backflip and your hands kind of like stick in the mud a bit as you're doing it, and you find it extremely difficult, but you still manage to pull it off. And you kind of flip around. And you do like a flip around a circle, and you notice the suit of armor isn't flipping, it's just following your movement around in the exact same kind of pattern.
Disappointing.
I know, it can't do a backflip, it's a suit of armor. It doesn't have any hands or center of gravity.
Guy uses his brain and makes the one mirroring him just, you know, go away from the rest of them.
Yeah.
As if to leave in the direction that they wanted to go.
Yeah, so you kind of like move around in a circle so that they're on the opposite side. So they were standing essentially where you were just standing, and then you just move and they start walking backwards. And you notice after the suits of armor get about 40 feet away, they just fall back into the mud again.
Oh,
Like
no.
they just unanimate and just kind of flop back into the mud.
As we're doing the whole like loop around thing for
Mhm.
someone, Ykika's shoulders, I
Uh-huh.
want to take a look around to see if I can like see anything in the mud.
Yeah, roll me a perception check with disadvantage. It's going to be pretty hard to see anything in the mud. You kind of look around. You see some old weapons. You see some broken bows and swords and shields and things, but you don't see anything that even looks remotely salvageable. Okay. Now the water level is starting to rise even more, and you make your way. Probably about another another quarter of a mile or so, and the water is starting to just it's starting to rise up now, where it is about 5 feet deep. So Ykika's like shoulders and head are sticking out of the water. Anyone else who's, well, I mean, Hollybell doesn't have to worry about it because she can just fly. You're resting thankfully on Ykika's shoulder, so you're out of the water, Viriah. But Guy and Rouge, you guys are sort of like wading through this water that's like 5 feet deep.
Brown is not my color.
Yeah, and it's just, it smells, and you can see small fish and things moving around your legs as the water is going on, and you continue on, and it takes you a good part of 30 minutes, and finally you see poking out of the fog in front of you, you do see a tower, a slanted tower, and this crumbling tower of stone that rises out of the swamp, leaning at such an angle that it threatens to keel over. You see blackened brambles that surround the base of the tower and cling to its lower half.
Is the tower made out of pizza?
No, it is not a leaning tower of pizza, unfortunately.
Sad.
It's not quite that Alice in Wonderland. Hanging from the crenellations on the lower side, oh, I've never seen that word before. On the lower side of the tower's peak is a large woven basket, and at the end of it, tangle of ropes and tattered fabric. The basket dangles about 30 feet above the surface of the swamp. And as you kind of reach the edge of this tower, the water level starts to lower again, as you're kind of like looking around. These blackened brambles, by the way, they're about 30 feet out from the tower, and they kind of like just encompass the entire area around the tower.
So what's Hollybell?
Hollybell just says, well, I mean the tower looks pretty interesting. So does the balloon. There had to be someone in that, right?
Yes. Guy is more trying to gauge whether or not Hollybell thinks it's a smart idea to knock on the front door or not, is sort of the response he's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, Hollybell doesn't know. She's just as inquisitive.
No, I mean,
as
but
you
like,
are, I think.
as a denizen of, like, the one most familiar with the Feywild, like...
Oh, I get what you mean. She says,
like,
well, if somebody lives there, it's probably nice and polite to knock on the door. But there's lots of brambles, and it's kind of falling over. So I don't think there's anybody living there. But I don't know, I could be wrong.
The guy will literally walk up and knock on the door.
Okay, so there's like 30 feet. There's like a 30-foot kind of like radius around the tower.
Oh,
that
so
is
you
just,
can't get into
that is
it.
just filled with brambles. Like you can, but this is kind of what you see. So you see this like massive radius of brambles around this tower that's also covered in brambles. And as you kind of get up towards the edge of the brambles, you hear a psst. You there? I need your help.
It's our friend the Minotaur.
Up here, and you kind of see a little kind of like glinting light shimmering from the basket.
How high up is the basket?
30 feet.
Guy just says hello there and waves.
And he says, I'm in a bit of a bind, as you can observe. I am Sir Talavar, one of the Summer Queen's loyal servants, and I ask that you free me. You see, I was in the midst of a daring escape from Bavlorna Blightstraw when our balloon was set upon by an ill wind and sent plummeting into this current unfortunate location. My pilot, the Honourable Wigglewog, did not survive, but I am trapped up here. Please help me.
Bavlorna Blightstraw.
I must tell my queen of the fall of Prismere.
Bavlorna stole my shit.
What's
Guys, like, let's see what we can do.
He says, be careful. There are 2 serpents asleep in the brambles just outside of the tower door. If you awaken them, they might put a squeeze on you, or worse, they might devour me.
Great. Snakes.
Why is it always snakes?
Hang on, so whereabouts are we? I've just put myself on there.
Wherever you'd like to be around that kind of, around that bramble wall, essentially.
How tall is this?
The brambles themselves are, let me see. They are 5 foot high, 5 foot thick.
Ah. Well, that's not so bad. I mean, I can get us through, but I don't really like the idea of just burning the place, like burning the brambles.
Oh, well, that was going to be my suggestion.
Do we have something to put it out so we can just make a small path through?
I don't know, do you?
And Rouge blows. She's like...
Poof.
I don't have a bucket or anything, do I? Of course not.
I don't think so.
Why would I?
You can just sit at the edge and try and splash it.
Yeah, there's plenty of water around you still. The water's still about 2.5 feet high.
Guys, like, if you want to burn it, we'll burn it.
I mean, it's probably the best bet. I'll just get Ykika to like start putting it out after we've made enough of it.
Ykika just goes, why don't we just hack through it? I got a big
Well, it's
something.
pointy and I don't want to get my. I don't want to get
What
stolen.
do I wield? I wield a hand. I got a hand axe and I got a longsword.
Guy will take a hand axe and help knock it down.
He says, wait a minute. We're supposed to be quiet, right? I don't know how quiet that's going to be.
Neither of them are really quiet per se.
Hmm. What if...
Fire is quiet.
I don't know about that.
Okay, well,
Okay, well, how about you dig under it then?
under the water?
Yeah, under the water. Just being sarcastic.
Yeah. So you can light it on fire if you want to.
I think that's the best bet here.
Okay. How are you gonna light it on fire? Create bonfire. All right. So how much? What does that do? 5 foot cube.
Ignites
Okay.
flammable objects in an area that aren't being worn or carried.
Yep. And it does how much damage?
Like a D8.
A D8. All right. So.
I don't think the planes are going to make a dex save, are they?
No. They don't. They're not going to do any of that. So roll your D8, and we'll see how much you burn through. Okay.
It is concentration up to a minute. So
Yeah. So you can.
every round.
You spend a minute. I need you to roll me a stealth check as well. To see how quiet you're being. Okay, not very, unfortunately.
Can I keep an eye out for the snakes while it's burning?
Yeah, you can. I think this is on the map background, right? Yeah, okay. I can't really just erase a section, but I'll draw you a section that you burn out in like red. So you burn out a section like here. You kind of burn out just enough. It takes you a minute or so, but you do create a path that's easy enough for you all to walk through.
I feel so bad for whoever planted these.
Rouge just kind of looks at him sighing.
Alright, so as you move through, what would you like to do?
Look for the snakes.
Guys are like-
Look for the snakes. Alright, so roll me a perception check then. Gonna look for the snakes. Is anybody else looking around for the snakes?
Yes, guys.
Alright, Guy, roll me a perception check. Okay, Rouge.
That was terrible.
Rouge is the one that spots them. Although they are extremely large, they're also very hidden. They're very, very hidden in all the brambles that surround the tower. They are huge-mungus. Giant constrictor snakes.
So she's going to silently point
Mm-hmm.
until the others catch on.
Everyone kind of looks around. Ykika just stops moving because he's like, if I move, I'm going to make noise. So he just like stays at the edge of the brambles.
Guys, like, do you have some sort of rope up there, or do we need to throw you one to get you down?
He says, I cannot get down myself.
I don't really want to wake those snakes up, so I'm going to use message spell because it's very quiet
Mm-hmm.
to tell him I can get him down. He just has to jump towards us.
He says, replies to the message, and he just says, it's not really an option, I'm afraid. I can't jump, you see. I'm kind of stuck up here.
I'll go.
Okay. Roll me a stealth
I'll
check.
try and free him, and then we'll jump down together.
Roll me a stealth check.
But I'm just going to double check that with Viriah.
Yeah, works.
Okay.
Holy jeezaloos. Alright, so you definitely stealth up to the tower, and you notice the door is open. There are a few brambles, but it's a bit of a squeeze to get inside. And as you move into the tower, there is just a staircase that leads up, and the rest of the tower is completely empty. You make your way up to the top, essentially, and you get out onto the balcony, and you see there is a violet fairy dragon. This fella right here, I'll show to all you guys. Sir Talavar, with his glorious fucking mustache.
What?
This is the best thing ever. And he is currently inside a silver cage.
Oh, he's ridiculous.
And he says, I'm sorry. I'm sort of locked in here, you see. Can't get out.
Cross my arms and I say, I thought you said you were stuck.
Yes, I am. I'm stuck in this cage. That's why I can't jump down.
Yes, well, you were a little bit misleading, weren't you? You made us think you were...
The best intentions, I assure you.
I can't think of the word, but, how did you get in the cage?
I was captured by Bavlorna Blightstraw. She locked me up after I was, well, trying to defend my my queen. It doesn't seem to be like telling the truth. Doesn't seem to be lying or like misleading you anyway. Seems to be telling the truth.
And why should I believe that you're on the right side? I don't know anything about your people.
He says, perhaps you don't. You do seem a stranger to these lands, but Bavlona Blightshore is one of the hags of the Hourglass Coven. Surely you've heard of them.
Hags of the Hourglass Coven, eh?
Yes.
Sounds like some kind of, miscreants.
They are, indeed. They need to be punished, and my queen needs to be brought back into power.
What are their crimes? Do they steal things?
Of course they do. They are hags. They steal anything and everything. Especially feelings.
What do they do with these things?
They, well, they use them for personal gain. You see, I saw, many different small magical items in their possession that didn't seem to do anything spectacular. A compass that didn't point north. A plush doll that had a bright smile on its face until you got close, and once you were up close, its smile turned into a frown. Simple magical items that didn't seem to really have any point, at least not in their possession.
Interesting. Where do they tend to keep these things?
Well, I know where Bavlorna is. She's in her cottage at the heart of Downfall, the Bullywog settlement. That's where I escaped from. That's where this balloon came from. That's where, rest his soul, my companion,
So
the
how
Honourable
come you
Wigglewog. Well, I was locked up, you see, when I was captured. And Wigglewog was kind enough to help me escape, but he did not have the key to the cage, so he just took the whole cage, with me in it.
And you ended up here how?
We were attacked by something, and our balloon was punctured. We went into a spin and crash landed here.
Did you happen to see this something?
It was some kind of flying creature. I'm not entirely sure what it was. I think it was a make of the hag.
All right, I suppose I believe you. Get out my thieves' tools.
All right, roll me a thieves' tools check.
How do I've never done rogue before?
Oh, I think it's just a dexterity check with your proficiency in thieves' tools.
Okay.
It should be in the tools section. You should just be able to click it, and it'll ask you what attribute you just. Click.
Yeah, if you've got the thieves' tool on your sheet, yeah, you should be able to click onto it, and then it'll ask you like what you want to use. Just use dex.
Underneath your passive perception in the tools proficiency.
Yeah, it's
not.
You don't have thieves' tools
Playing
on
a
there?
rogues.
Have you
Playing a
dragged?
rogues.
Did you drag? Have you dragged the thieves' tools onto your sheet?
So can you look at the sheet? Because I'm not sure. It looks weird.
Yeah. So click. So it's got like a question mark and a query thing. So if you just click on it, it should go.
I'm clicking.
It should say input value, and then it'll come up with like a list of attributes that you want to use.
I'm clicking on it.
Okay.
It's not.
All right.
Responding.
I'll do it for you then. There you go.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I don't know why it's not.
Okay. So you yeah. So you just click on the word thieves tools, and it should.
No, I did that, and then I clicked on the question mark, and then I clicked on query. It's not working. Oh crap.
Did you? You opened it like 3 or 4 times now, didn't you? Maybe.
More like 100.
Oh my god! How many times did you have to click?
I was just like fast clicking it.
Yeah. Well. Yep. That'll. Yep. Okay. Well, you can close all those. All right. So in the meantime, you spend a couple minutes trying to undo the birdcage, but it is like solidly locked. The thing is like you think it's. You get it. after trying it once or twice, you get a good idea about it, and you're like, this thing is like magically locked somehow. Like, you just cannot open this. And as you're kind of fiddling with it, Sir Talvar looks down towards you and he just says, oh, damn it. I thought that would be the case. You're going to have to get the key. There is a goblin named Jingle Jangle that has the key. She lives...
And it's a goblin, like, Rouge perks up.
Uh-huh. She lives at the top of Telemy Hill, not too far from this slanted tower. It's, I think it's further towards the east, although it's hard to tell because the hill kind of moves around. He says, if you do this for me, I will give you my magical sword.
I mean, that's all well and good, but how am I supposed to find a hill that moves?
It's rather large. Should probably stand out. It is a hill.
Can I see anything from the top of the tower?
Roll me a perception check.
Doop-a-doo.
Doop-a-doop-doop-doop. You see through the fog, and you see like... You see kind of like the top of a hill that's like poking through the fog. About maybe 4 or 5 miles away in the distance. It looks like it's ages away.
On the map, what direction would it be?
So east-ish, yeah.
So on our map, give me a landmark.
Well, you're on the Slanty Tower map right now, but it's essentially east of where you are, about 4 or 5 miles. So to the right hand side.
I always get confused whether it's a right or left. Okay, shut up.
Yeah, right. It's to the right. It's to the right.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And he says to you, I would really urge you to hurry. I'm not sure these snakes are going to wait around forever.
Oh, all right. Well, give me that sword then.
He says, I think I'd rather hold on to it just in case these snakes come at me. But once you return, it is yours.
Fine, it would have been really helpful, but hey, you know.
Gonna message Rouge and say, is he coming with us?
No.
You hear, you hear Viriah's voice in your ear. You're not quite sure where it's coming from, but it sounds like it's right next to you.
No.
Why not?
Because he's in a cage.
You know, I don't think it'd be that hard to carry a cage. It's not huge, is it?
It is a medium-sized cage. It's pretty big.
I mean, I would imagine it was like, yeah.
It
I
is.
thought it was like a small thing.
He's a small creature. He's actually a tiny creature, but the birdcage itself is kind of like could hold you inside of it.
What, he can't like come out through the bars?
No, it's like enchanted somehow.
Okay. Can I reach in through the bars?
No. As you try and reach in, your hand just like hits like a wall of force that's between the two kind of cage pieces of the cage.
Well done. Alright, so I say no, and then I start heading back down, because we in a hurry, apparently.
Alright, you climb down, and you get back down. You're still very careful. You kind of tread on your same footprints that you tread on the way through, and you make your way back past the brambles as you kind of you almost clip a part of your cloth on one of the thorns coming off from the brambles. But you are you feel it catching, and you quickly stop and lift it off, and then move back through the brambles again.
So what happened?
Alright, long story short, dude's in a cage, we gotta go get the key, there's a hill that way, and a goblin. Yay!
Yay, goblin.
That's it. That's all I say.
That's all I got. All right. What do you guys want to do?
Go find the goblin.
Okay.
Bit homesick.
So the water's kind of come down now. It's back down to less than a foot deep. It's probably just a couple of centimeters of water now across this entire kind of swampy, boggy area. And the once again the terrain is walkable rather than swimmable. I would like somebody else to roll me a D8 again as you move through the Feywild towards your next destination. Rouge did it last time, so I volunteer Viriah. Oh, alright, Guy already rolled it. Okay, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So, as you're moving through, you see a rush of, or you hear rather, a rush of water in the distance.
Okay.
And as you're walking in that direction, you see a well that is about 10 feet tall and 5 feet in diameter, and a steady geyser of water that is just shooting from the well 30 feet high into the air.
So that's where all this damn water came from.
And you see, what's everybody's passive perceptions?
13.
13.
13, 10, okay. Alright, let me roll that. Okay. Stop. Okay, so you see, okay, Jesus. Alright, you see at the top of the geyser, floating up above, just kind of like getting rolled around by the geyser and at the top of it, there is a tiny duskwood coffin.
Okay.
At the top of the
At the top of the geyser, yeah, just being like rolled around. Like, you know, when you put a ball like on a jet of air or a jet of water and it just kind of like gets rolled around infinitely, just kind of like sitting there. This is what's happening to this coffin right now.
Rouge just looks at it and is like, huh, that's interesting. Not my problem. Keeps walking.
All right.
You can't leave it up there.
Why not?
I mean, I'd die if I get put in a coffin. I'd rather be in the ground, not, you know, stuck up there.
Who says there's anyone in it?
He says there's not.
Fair point, but who says there's anyone in it? Not my problem.
Guy's looking at Viriah like he wants him to convince him to do something about it.
I mean, if me and Ykika tie a rope between ourselves, we can go up, like, get flung up there and grab it, and I can feather fall us down.
I mean, you're welcome to
Nightshade,
go with it. That's the plan.
Nightshade, looks around at you guys.
One of us can fucking fly.
Yeah, and it's like, does anybody have like mage hand? Couldn't you just grab it?
Oh. Oh. How high up is it? 30 feet?
It's like 30 feet up.
Oh, I thought it was higher than that.
No.
Sorry.
I mean, in that case, can't Nightshade just fly up and grab it?
She's like, but I don't want to get wet. I hate when my wings get wet. Can't. Guy, can you grab it? Do you have mage hand?
Nope.
God damn it. What kind of wizard are you?
The good kind.
She's like, do you have prestidigitation?
I do.
Okay, well, can you clean my wings
Yeah.
when I get back down? She's like, fine. Flies up, goes and grabs it. And she's like, God damn. She's getting sprayed by the water.
Whisper to Guy and say, I'm not gonna do it.
Guy does use prestidigitation.
Okay. She comes back down and she brings you back down a tiny duskwood coffin. And as she does, you notice a light following from behind her.
Behind you.
She's like, what? Turns around. And this
Via.
a glowing yellow orb just kind of floats towards her. And give me a second. There's other stuff. Doodle doodle doo. There we go. So this kind of dull voice kind of emits from this glowing orb. It just says, "Hello, friend. I'm so glad you retrieved the coffin. We would much prefer to be buried in the ground."
See, I told you.
Rouge is hiding behind Ykika's back again because that's fucking creepy.
True, and I'm gonna climb down behind there as well.
They look over and they say, "Here, friend, take this." And a very small bead of light kind of shines out in a swirling motion towards Nightshade. And Nightshade just kind of looks around and just is kind of frozen in that moment. But Nightshade receives a magical boon.
Ah.
Gets a D4 and can at any time within the next 24 hours roll the dice and add the number to one ability check, attack, roll, saving throw.
My IT pout.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start.
Not the one that got
really
the coffin.
But...
Alright. Let me just add that here. There we go. Okay. And then the light from the will-o-wisp just kind of like fades away from behind where Nightshade was. And you're still holding the coffin. As Nightshade's passed it off to you now.
Is this a spot where we can actually dig and bury it?
Yeah, I mean you can dig into the mud. It's not very hard to dig a hole into the mud.
Yeah, I mean it's better than nowhere.
Yep. You dig down. How deep do you go?
How the coffin's like a tiny object, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tiny.
Like 3 feet maybe.
All right. Ykika gives you a hand. Just kind of pushes in.
Yeah.
It takes you probably a good 15-20 minutes to kind of dig through the mud because it all kind of slides back into place after a little while. But you dig through and then you keep moving and you make your way eastward towards where you assume the giant hill is. And
cleaning everything as we go.
Yeah, after walking for another good like 45 minutes or so, just trudging through this mud, the water level starts to rise again, and you feel like the water level here is just like these gushing geysers, kind of like after they spurt out a bunch of water, the water level just starts to like slowly rise all over the place until it sinks back down again into the mud, and then it gets exploded into the air again, and it keeps happening over and over and over again. And you get you finally make your way towards the hill. And you get there and you see it in the distance. It's about 100 feet away. And you see this giant hill skirted in the mist, and you're greeted by the scent of sweet-smelling fruit. Damp, downy, silvery green moss blankets of gentle upwards slope before giving way to a craggy ridge that marks the top of the hill. You see dozens of enormous willow trees that dot the hillside, swaying as though in a breeze, although there is a complete absence of a breeze right now. And as you make your way towards the hill, you notice it's probably about half a mile wide or so. It's not. It seems bigger than it actually is now that you're here. And there is a narrow game trail that seems to be leading up the hill.
I skip ahead. I'm excited.
So you see here, there's a path that leads up a hill. And as you make your way along the path, there are a couple of trees that kind of reach out towards you with their branches, and you hear a voice in common, very low, very rumbling, that just says, "Hello.
Does it
Hello.
sound like a goblin voice?
Hello." Roll me an insight check. You don't think it's a goblin, but you're not sure what's talking to you right now.
Apparently it's the cat.
Hello. Hello. And a tree walks onto the path in front of you.
And I dash behind Ykika. Very
says-
into self-preservation.
And the tree just looks out and it says, "Welcome to Tellamy Hill."
Whoa, the trees are talking.
Guy asks if there's a goblin here.
Say, "Ah, yes, Jingle Jangle. She is here. She is friendly. She collects keys, and she does not stop talking about them. Would you like to go and see her?"
Yes, please.
She says from behind Ykika.
She hasn't left her hut in 3 days. She was attacked recently by some brigands. And
Were they the rabbits with the big snail?
oh, that sounds like the ones. She must be pretty hungry. Do you have any food to give her? I'm sure she would be very happy to see you.
Meta question, what do goblins eat?
Oh, anything?
I have rations. We all have rations. They eat food.
Yeah, that's true. We've all got
Guy's
rations.
like, I'm smarter than all you motherfuckers.
I got sugar-coated button mushrooms.
Yeah, so I point.
He hasn't eaten them yet.
No, yeah, I was gonna say.
It's got lots of food.
It's got something. So you make your way up the path. Do you stick to the path?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I know the trees are alive, yes.
Yep. Okay. Good. All right. It's gonna say. All right. So you make your way up to the path, and you get yourselves up to this hold on. Let me shift click you up there. You get yourselves up to this little kind of small looking doorway, a small looking hut, and the door remains in front of you. What would you like to do?
Guy knocks.
You knock on the door and you hear a, "Who is it?"
I call out in Goblin.
What do you say in Goblin?
We're here with food.
She says, "Food? Oh God, I'm hungry." And she says it back in Goblin, and she comes and opens the door. She says,
Hi! And I look weirdly excited.
Hello?
And I hug her.
Oh, okay. You give her a big hug.
I give her a hug.
So she said, thank you. And she kind of says, come in, come in. And you see worn stone steps that lead down into what feels like a cellar. It's very chilly down in here. And you detect a subtle scent of iron in the air. And from a distant spot within the chamber, you see sputtering candles that illuminate just a multitude of keys that are dangling from taut strings that crisscross the walls, hundreds of other keys that lie strewn across the floor. And as you kind of take this scene in, you hear the sound of keys jingling as the goblin kind of walks around to try and fix you guys some tea.
What a beautiful key collection!
She's wearing like a coat of metal keys, and she has a flail of padlocks. And she looks around, she gives you a bit of a faint smile, and she says, "Thank you. I mean, I collect all kinds of keys. How can I unlock a bit of happiness in your lives today?"
Guy explains what's going on and says if she can help, he's more than willing to offer her this bag of glazed mushrooms.
I also just want to say, it's interesting that you should mention unlocking things.
He says, "That's Jingle Jangle's job. Jingle Jangle unlocks all kinds of things for everybody."
Well, there's a cage that we need unlocked.
Cage, you say? What kind of key unlocks said cage? Can Jingle Jangle help?
Jingle Jangle can almost certainly help. Jingle Jangle would know best about the keys. I don't know about keys.
Well, Jingle Jangle wants to help. What kind of cage is it?
I describe the cage.
Okay. She's like, Jingle Jangle has just the key. This key, a silver key. Here's the key. She says, better that you have it than those long-eared brigands. First they stole Jingle Jangle's truffles. Next they'll want Jingle Jangle's keys. Someone ought to teach them a lesson.
We would be glad to.
My ears are gonna like sink all the way down and just
She looks over and she sees you and she says, "You weren't there. You're not one of them. I can tell the good ones. You look like a good one."
I like Jingle Jangle.
You can't see, but the little tail wiggles a little bit.
Wiggles a little bit. Jingle Jangle just says, "You know."
Guy gives her the mushrooms.
Oh, she takes them and she immediately puts them in like a pot of water and starts like stirring them around and trying to heat them up. She doesn't realize that they're covered in sugar.
Guy's okay with it.
She looks over and she says, You're new here to Prismere, aren't you?"
Oh, yes.
I can tell. Jingle Jangle can tell. You all smell, what's the right word? Clean.
Do things here usually not smell clean?
No, nope, this is Prismere, and it's controlled by the Coven now, so it smells worse than it did before, and it already smelled pretty bad.
Oh dear.
But I'm used to it. It doesn't really... I mean, you smell nice.
Well, thank you.
You smell sweet. You smell innocent. You smell naive. I don't know. Jingle Jangle can't really tell. This is difficult for Jingle Jangle. It's like a new smell. It's a good smell. I like it.
We like you too.
She's like, you probably need a guide to get around hither, don't you?
That would be very helpful.
Yes.
Well, I know of a guide. His name's Clapperclaw. He's a scarecrow.
Where could we find him?
Well, I think he's in Downfall. I mean, Downfall's like the place to be if you got any business here in Hither.
Where's Downfall?
Downfall's... And she kind of looks around a little bit, and smells the air, and licks a finger and puts it up into the air even though you're inside. She's like, that way. She points sort of like in a northwesterly direction.
Okay, thanks.
She's like, but, I mean, it's hard for me to tell. Telemy Hill kind of moves around a bit, so by the time you get outside and get off the hill, it might be in a different direction.
Good to know.
I mean, if you can get above the fog, it might be easier to figure out where to go. But
How does one do
not
that?
always easier. She's like, I don't know, fly?
Oh yeah, easy.
She looks over at Nightshade and just says, yeah.
Good point.
Jingle Jangle wishes Jingle Jangle could fly.
Rouge wishes Jingle Jangle could fly too.
Oh.
Also Rouge.
She says, oh, how rude of me. And she pulls out some cups with tea and she puts them in front of you.
Oh, thank you very much for the offer, but I think we had better be getting back. There's someone stuck in a cage.
Oh, I see. You have urgent business. Well, at least take a sip. It might help you feel better.
Guy downs the cut tea.
Okay, the tea is like weak and it tastes like grass mixed with water. But it's
Guy
hot.
still says thank you.
But it's hot, which is nice, but it's not really, it doesn't really taste good and it's not really refreshing in any way.
I will also drink the tea to be polite, because Jingle Jangle is a goblin.
Yes. Jingle Jangle looks over at you all and she's just like, I'm so happy I could help you. I'm just, it's so nice to see new faces around here, and Jingle Jangle is just so happy to be of help to anybody.
Well, Jingle Jangle is very sweet, and I definitely hope that Jingle Jangle gets back what was stolen from her.
Jingle Jangle hopes so too. And she says, well, thanks for stopping by. If you need another key, you know where to find me. Well, you might know where to find me. Like I said, Telemy Hill kind of moves around, but if you find a hill, I'm probably here. Unless I'm not.
Good to know.
She looks at her and she just kind of says, well, don't you have somewhere to be?
Right. Off we go.
Goodbye. And
Bye,
she kind of
Jingle.
waves you out and she starts rearranging some keys in her collection. And she's like, oh, this one should go over here. And this one should go over here. She's kind of like looking around and just kind of like... She looks to be in a better mood now that you kind of came in, gave her some food, and maybe some good news, and kind of brightened her spirits.
That's good. I'm glad we could have Jingle Jangle.
And as you kind of make it out the front door, you see a couple of trees like standing there expectantly, and they look down. They kind of like reach down towards you as you hear the creaking sounds of wood approaching, and they say, "Well done. If Jingle Jangle is happy, Telemy Hill is happy." And they kind of pat you on the head, and they wander back off the path.
Did we ever find out what that sweet smell was coming from when we got here?
The hill itself.
Oh,
It just smells like the trees in this area all smell like rather sweet and rather nice.
is there fruit hanging off the trees?
Roll me a perception check.
Oh God, shut up!
Sorry.
You do see a couple of pieces of fruit dangling from some of the trees off the path.
I mean, at least she's got food then, I guess. I'm not gonna go for it, because
Okay.
that's it. That could be rude, just like yoinking the
Yoinking the fruit.
fruit off the living trees.
Yeah. All right. So you guys make your way down off of Telemy Hill and back down into the swampy water below. Are you going to try and go back to the tower? I guess?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Roll me a... who hasn't done it yet? Viriah, roll me a d8. An 8. All right. So you, funnily enough, find your way back through the same waterlogged battlefield that you had found before, and before you know it, you walk up within about 40 feet of those same 2 suits of armor.
God damn it.
And as you do, they stand up out of the mud, and they just like, they stay like 30 feet away from you as you get close enough. And then I guess you guys just use the same tactic and try and like circle around so that they come on one side and you go on the other, and then you walk the other direction again.
I want to try and message them to see if they can reply.
Okay, all right. Roll me an Arcana check.
Hello? Can you hear me?
So you cast your message spell out in their direction, and you don't feel as though the spell was successful.
Oh.
It seems these animated suits of armor are just designed to protect or what's the right word? Engage in anything that approaches them. And as you kind of like move around them and get to the other side of the battlefield, you notice the water level is pretty stable, actually. It doesn't really look like it's rising or falling at this point. It's kind of like it's about a foot deep, so it's still pretty difficult to move through. But you do kind of like slodge on for another hour or so. And it's funny, you guys have been here for a few hours now, moving through the swamp and coming across the tower and climbing down and just kind of like traveling through this thick fog. It's damp. It's very like a wet, earthy, muddy, just kind of stinky bog. But the sky hasn't changed. It doesn't seem as though it's getting darker. It's like this eternal kind of twilight skyscape. And it's kind of throwing you off. Like you're not, like, you know, when you came into the Feywild that it was nighttime. It was almost midnight probably when you were crowned the Witchlight monarch. And as you were, and you moved through into the Feywild, it's been a good 4 hours or so. You guys are getting really tired at this point. And you finally get to you finally see the tower in the distance. It's a couple hundred feet away from you, and you see the brambles as you get closer and closer, and you see the area that you had previously burned over has started to grow back already. And you'll need to kind of like, either someone small needs to go through, or if you do move through, you're gonna have to be very, very careful not to get caught on anything. Or you're gonna need to maybe burn away more of the brambles. So what would you like to do?
I guess we're gonna burn more brambles.
Okay. You say that to Viriah, I suppose?
Yeah.
Shouldn't take as long this time.
Shouldn't. There's not as much to burn through, so just roll me your, what is it, D8?
Very good.
Okay. So, you burn away what grew back, essentially. It does take you about a minute or so. But you burn through. And who is moving through the area again? Is that going to be you again, Rouge? Or are you going to leave it up to somebody else?
And it's probably gonna be me. I'm assuming I'm the stealthiest. The snakes are still there.
Yep, the snakes are still there. You do see them, but they have not woken.
Oh my god, what?
Okay, so you move through. Let me see if the snakes notice you. What is that check for? Okay. Is that? Oh, okay, cool. Alright, perception. Oh, okay, well lucky they had disadvantage. Because they're asleep still. It rolled an 8, so it does not notice you.
Oh.
Yeah, so it doesn't notice you as you sneak past and climb back up the tower. And as you get back up, you see Sir Talavar there in the blue, kind of like resting, just kind of waiting. And as you approach, he's a bit surprised and he pulls out his sword and he points towards your direction. He's like, oh, it's you, you're back. Whew. And he sheathes his sword. He says, did you get the key? Did you find Jingle Jangle? How is she? Is she okay?
She had a rough day, but she seems better now.
I think we've all had a bit of a rough day today.
And I hold out my hand expectantly.
He looks at you like, what are you expecting right now?
Well, you said you'd give me the sword.
Well, you haven't opened the cage.
How do I know you'll give me the sword if I open the cage?
I am a man of my word.
Well, how do I know that?
I am not Sir Talavar for nothing.
I don't know anything about this world.
Well, let me inform you. Sir means I am from a royal court. And being from a royal court, I have a certain, shall you say, honor that I must uphold. If I do not uphold that honor...
Okay, I'll open the cage if it will stop you lecturing me.
He looks at you and he's like, thank you.
I open the cage.
Alright, you open the cage. He quickly darts out of the cage and he looks over towards you and he flaps his wings and he kind of hovers there for a second. He says, oh, God, it feels good to be free. Thank you. Here. And he takes his sword off of his belt. And he hands over to you a tiny sword. It's a tiny sword. He's so tiny. It is. It's a +1 dagger. That's how tiny of a sword it is.
Hell yeah.
It's a +1 dagger for a small or medium creature.
So if I'm gonna make my dagger +1, what do I add?
It does.
Just drag +1
Yeah, just drag
dagger.
a +1 dagger from the compendium over.
I've already got it. Okay, so I was just gonna...
Yeah, but it gives
Now
you
you have
another
to-
dagger, and now it's a +1 dagger.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so
This
you got
way
2
you can
daggers.
stab with one and throw the other.
Yeah. Don't throw the +1 dagger. That's a bad idea. I mean, you could, but if you got another one. But he looks over to you and he says, "Thank you so much. You will surely be in the favor of the Summer Queen. Your valor will not be forgotten." And he flies up and he says, "I hope you find what you're looking for here in Prismere. Farewell." And he kind of flies up and flies through the fog, and kind of up and out. And you after a couple of minutes you can't see him anymore. He's very tiny.
He could have helped give us some direction before he flew off.
Well, you didn't ask him.
Left!
Yeah, he wants to get the fuck out of there.
Alright, I head back down.
All right, you head back down, move back out through the brambles, and out back and around.
Where'd he go?
Flew off.
He just... Oh, I wanted to... Oh.
I'm sure we'll see him again. She said, in her meta voice.
Where do we go now?
Where
Northwest to wherever Jingle Jangle pointed.
that I can't remember why we were going there, but we were apparently going there.
That's where the hag is, apparently.
Right. The hag. Yes.
No, the guide.
Yeah, the
No, the
guide. Clapper. What was his name? Fuck, I can't remember his name already.
Oh, right. And I tell the guys all some of the information
Hold
that
on.
I got.
Let me find his name. I should know his name. What is his name? Clapperclaw. That's the one. He's a scarecrow. Yeah, he's a guide. He's in down. He's in a place called Downfall, which is the town here in Hither. Is part of Prismere.
Okay. I guess if we're gonna head that way, while we're going, I'm going to tell the guys the information that I got out of. I don't even know his name.
Talva?
I think his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Talva.
Sir Talavar.
About the hag and the stealing and
Yeah.
where she's in her hut.
Yes, she's in her hut in, or cottage rather, in Downfall.
Yeah.
In the main town here.
So they're both in the same place, which is handy.
Yeah. And you've got a bearing, so would you like to make your way northward?
Indeed.
All right. Roll me a. Somebody roll me, or you can all roll me if you want. Roll me a survival check to see if you guys are going in the right direction.
Isn't that what the fairy's for?
You know what? I'm gonna use my inspiration.
You know what? I'm pretty sure Nightshade was the one that lost their sense of direction. I think that was the thing they lost. Hold on, let me double check it. Story tracker says, yeah, Nightshade has the, where is it? No, Alex was the one that lost their sense of direction. Nightshade lost a cherished or stuffed doll.
By the way, were these like random or did we decide them?
They were pretty random.
Like, so they were assigned? Because I don't think I have one.
Yeah, you don't have one. So roll me a d8 and I'll see what you lost.
I
think it's here. That is not it. Where is it? Hold on. Beginning the adventure. Here we go. Yes, so the thing you lost was your ability to smile.
That's so on par with Rouge.
Yeah. Alright. So Rouge can't smile. Whoa, don't want to do that. And the hag that has
round face.
I need you to roll me another d8 so that I can find out which hag has stolen your ability to smile. Okay, so it is Barlova Blightstraw, so the one that is in this section of the Feywild, and you would know that because the unicorns told everybody, like, oh, that sounds like this night hag that stole your thing.
Wait, is she the one in the Downfall?
Yep.
Sweet.
And also, you cannot light non-magical fires.
Okay.
So unless you're using magic, you can't light a fire.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I didn't light a fire for those brambles.
No. Well,
It's okay, I can't do non-magical ones anyway.
Yeah, he can't do it. Viriah can't do it either, but that create bonfire is a cantrip, so it's a magic, so still has the ability to use the magic for it. Okay. Alright. Okie dokie. So you guys are headed towards Downfall. You're all feeling extremely tired. Would you like to try and rest anywhere, or would you like to continue on? If you continue on, you're gonna have to roll me a con save or take a point of exhaustion.
I think probably find somewhere relatively dry to camp.
So as you're heading back north, you move here. Let me kind of put you here. You find yourselves right about. Let me just put one of you.
Oh, there's a feet. That's what that is.
Yeah, their feet. Let me put Ykika where you guys probably. Wow, that's huge. You guys are
That is a
probably
big boy.
right around here as you head north, and you find yourself up against another one of these causeways that is kind of broken. And the causeway itself, all the kind of collapsed stone and things around that area kind of create a bit of a plateau where you guys can kind of rest on without worrying about the water rising up in the middle of the night and going up and down and kind of stranding you guys somewhere where you're going to be sleeping and then go underwater and drown, essentially. So you can, if you'd like to, try and long rest right there. Is anybody going to stay on watch?
Yes.
Okay. Roll me a perception check. Okay. So you see. Let me see here. What is this one? Yes, it is. All right. How? What kind of feeling does Viriah have as they're on watch? Do they feel scared, excited, anxious, like how are they kind of feeling as they're kind of sitting
More
around?
towards the anxious, worried kind of thing, because we're in a new place and we've seen some weird shit already.
All right, roll me a d8. Okay, so you see, as you're kind of like looking out into this fog, it's not like dark, but it's kind of like it's sort of that eternal twilight where you can see fine, but everything's kind of a little bit, you got to squint every now and then to try and like really focus on what you're looking at, and you see through the fog around you. You see some like weeds and flowers, vines just kind of like sprout out of the ground and wiggle around a little and then just go back into the bog and kind of disappear into the water. They don't seem to be getting closer to you or anything. They're just like randomly kind of all over the place. Just ugly weeds and thorny vines and things just kind of sprout up and then retract back into the earth again.
Every now and then I'll, like, if they're close enough, I'll do a dancing light near them, see if they react to it at all.
Yeah, they do, actually. They kind of reach out towards the light a little bit, and then they sort of like seem interested, and then they kind of like retract again back down into the earth. But it definitely kind of like intrigues them enough to the point where the plants kind of rise towards the dancing lights, yeah. Ykika takes the second sort of watch, and he...
Don't forget, most of us have nightmares tonight.
Yep. And he doesn't really notice anything. He just kind of looks out. He's just like, yeah, I've been in worse places. He doesn't really feel too bad. And he sees some flowers bloom here and there. Very small, like moon lily looking flowers. And a couple of mushrooms pop up here and there. They just kind of like pulse, woom, 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 and then kind of like slowly grow smaller and smaller. And yeah, so Ykika kind of looks out, doesn't really see anything else. And you guys managed to get a long rest, but I do need everybody who was affected by nightmares. I need you to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Fuck yeah, nightmares!
Fuck yeah, nightmares. I think that was everyone except for Nightshade, I want to say. Or well, no, Guy, you didn't go on the roller coaster.
No, there was only like 3 of us that got him.
Did Rouge go on the roller coaster? I can't remember. Oh yeah, because yeah, we were like, yeah, the spiders. Well, that's it. Okay, good. Go next thing. Okay. So Rouge, you do get the benefits of a full long rest, so you get all your hit points and all your abilities back, but you do suffer 1 point of exhaustion. Okay. So that means that exhaustion is for a level 1 of exhaustion, you have disadvantage on ability checks. So not saving throws or attack rolls, but just ability checks. So like stealth or whatever, you're going to have disadvantage on it. Unless you have advantage for some other reason, and then it'll like cancel out and you'll just get a normal roll, but you got disadvantage on ability checks. And
there's somewhere I can notate, like, is there an
yes. If you go to the gear on the right side next to spells, there's a setting for tracking exhaustion in the right window. Like the general options is like 5th from the bottom.
I see it.
Yep.
On.
Click that on, and then you'll be able to track your exhaustion. Okay. So, you guys made it into this part of the Feywild, into Prismere, and into this part of Hither. It's time to level up.
No.
You guys are level 2.
Cool.
Level 2.
Still feels like a demotion. Just kidding.
Well, yeah,
what?
For you. You level up.
Oh. Okay.
So you're all level 2 now. So I don't know what everybody gets, but some people get some cool stuff, and some people get not much, and some people get a little bit.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
I get I have it on my other sheet. Cunning action.
Oh yeah, so you can dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action.
Rogue mode initiated.
Yeah, fuck yeah. That basically makes you a rogue now.
Yep.
So you can move, and then as your bonus action you can dash, and then as your action you can move again, and then you'll move like a very long way in one turn.
So when I use the Charactermancer, it automatically put like thieves can't, sneak attack, criminal contact, offensive duelist.
Yeah, just click Charactermancer Plus and it'll do the level.
Yeah, don't do the Charactermancer level 1 thing, do the Charactermancer Plus thing down the bottom. Launch level plus Charactermancer, and then it'll like... And then you can level up to level 2, yep.
Cool, thank you.
That should do everything there.
This is great for someone super lazy like me.
It's super helpful. I wish I had Tashes so that you could add all the Tashes stuff in there as well. But, unfortunately, I don't have the cash for Tashes just yet. I want to get it. And I gotta get Fizzbands too, because that's got some cool shit in it as well. It's character option-y stuff now too.
How do I level up on roll 20?
So on your character sheet, click the cogwheel next to spells. And then go down and click the one at the bottom, the launch level plus Charactermancer, and that should be able to level up to level 2. Pick everything you want from there. Yep. Yeah, if you want any spells from Tashes or whatever, feel free to take them, but you're gonna have to like copy paste them in because I don't have Tashes. So. Yeah. Everyone's level 2.
I can't remember what archetype I chose.
Oh. Do you get it? Level 2?
Yeah, apparently.
Rogue did it at 3.
Oh, I see what's happening here.
You get cunning action as your only.
No, I put 2 on my sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Already.
Oh, so it was trying to level you to level 3.
Yeah, hang on, let me go back. Wait, no, cancel.
Yeah, you don't... On your character sheet, you don't have to change the level. If you just do the Charactermancer thing, it'll change it for you.
Yeah, no, it's just that I'd already done it, and I...
Yeah, okay. That's cool.
Yes, sir. Back
All right.
to Captain's now.
So let me get some map layer and map layer and map layer. So you guys have been to those places: Queensway, Slanty Tower, and Telemy Hill. And you can see too on this map that there are like there's that geyser that you came across right before you got to Telemy Hill.
Right.
And there's also the battlefield here in between these two.
Is that a keyhole in Tell Me Hill?
Yeah, that's the keyhole that Jingle Jangle lives in. And then this is the balloon that you saw slamming into the Slanty Tower, and all the brambles and stuff around it. Yeah.
You're a hee-haw.
As you exchange your novice notions of the world for experience, a feat may come within reach. Not today, however.
Nope. Not today. Not today, pig. Not today.
And I guess that's it.
Alright.
I get 1 extra spell
Nice.
when I get those fancy points though.
Oh yeah, sorcery points. Hell yes. What do you choose your meta magics, right?
Yeah, I get to pick those now.
What-
I think actually no, I don't get those till 3.
Really? That's weird. You get sorcery points, but you can't use them on anything?
You can use them to get spell slots back.
Oh yeah, for like a level.
So you essentially get a 1 spell slot mana battery.
Uh-huh. For like a whole level until you get to 3, and then you finally get your meta magic stuff.
That's why I looked at the thing and I was like, maybe I should just take a damn level in Warlock so I actually get something.
Nah, stick with it. You're only gonna get to like level 7 or 8 anyway, maybe, so not much point in diverging too much. Alright. So you guys successfully finish your long rest.
Although I could do that cheeky bullshit where you to use your Warlock spell slots to get 2 sorcery points.
And then use
And then
sorcery
take a
points
short
to
rest and get them back.
I mean, you could do that. But that would
Not going
require
to,
you
that's
resting a lot, and it doesn't seem like an option.
It's too much effort.
Okay, cool.
Alright. Oh god, why am I so zoomed out now? God, it's such a pain in the ass. Okay. Alright, so you guys continue, you awake from your slumber, rested, although some haunted by nightmares. And you find yourself still in the same stinky, boggy swamp you were in before. The earth still fills the back of your nostrils, and this wet, muddy scent lingers in the air everywhere. Ykika doesn't seem too perturbed by it at all. And as you kind of move a little bit further north, you find yourselves on a pathway, on a kind of stilted area that leads a little bit above the swamp, above the water level, and the foggy marsh that stretches out before you. You see rickety causeways made of wooden planks to form a wide web-like structure above the bog. And then about 300 feet away, you see them all sort of converge on an enormous ivy-covered tree stump that rises a good 10 feet above the 20-foot-high fog bank that enshrouds it. So I'm going to put you guys on the tollway here. This map is rather large, so you're going to have to zoom out a bit to see it in its entirety. But you can kind of see the tree trunk there in the middle. You see a bunch of
Pots.
see a bunch of paths, and you see a bunch of things. So put yourselves like on one of these paths where you think you might be.
I assume we came from the bottom.
From the
left.
bottom,
Oh,
yeah,
Mike?
yeah. From the bottom somewhere. Okay, right down the bottom corner there.
V small.
Very small. Yes, very, very small.
Although I'm probably hiding behind Ykika as usual.
Yep, everyone's hiding behind Ykika. He's the front man.
Oh god.
Yeah, you're right down the bottom corner there. Yeah. I'll shift drag you over there. Alright, so the wooden causeways are only about 5 feet wide, and they're in pretty poor shape. So as you're walking across them, you do have to constantly like watch your step to make sure you're not like falling off of the causeway. And as you kind of like walk through this area, you make it up to like an intersection of planks, up to probably here somewhere, where you're all kind of like on this planked area, and Guy, you have an odd feeling that comes over you as you become aware that somewhere along walking along this causeway, a hunched, hooded figure has joined the group, and he's standing like right behind you.
Guy turns and says, "Hello there," in a loud enough voice that everybody can hear him.
He casts off the cloak that he's holding with a big flourish and throws it across the side of the causeway into the water, and you see this 15-foot long bright blue scarf just like billows out behind him, as he holds a hot branding iron in one hand and a small round shield in the other. And you hear the sound of bagpipes erupting from somewhere ahead of you. And the song, and you recognize the song that that is being sung, and it's the same song that you heard that the brigands sung as they are approaching you through the fog as you got here.
I immediately cast Mage Armor.
Oh, you don't need to. Oh, actually, you do need to, but yeah, because you long rested. All right, so you cast Mage Armor again. He has a wide grin on his face, and he bounces from these planks like across to here and up to in front of you and kind of off to the side and back onto the planks again, and just bounces around in circles. And he circles around you, and he looks at you all and he just says, "So, I hear you don't want to give up anything. Well, I'm sorry, but I've got to take something, you know." And
you can try.
That
plus 1 dagger.
And that is where we'll leave it for tonight. Right as he gets there. So you heard those guys approaching, and these guys too. All right. Okay. That's where we will. That's where we'll leave it for the night. Because I think it'll be better if we do this kind of like mini combat scenario if everybody's here.
Probably.
It'll just be a little bit easier. That way I'm not trying to control. That way I'm not trying to control like 3 different characters.
Which way are we traveling by?
Towards the tree stump.
Where's the tree stump?
In the middle of the map. Middle of the map. Up here.
Okay, so I'm definitely not in front.
No, Ykika is. I just didn't drag him down yet, but I can drag him down there now.
Okay.
Put him down there, and then Nightshade would be like there somewhere as well, probably next to Viriah. Then Alex is likely.
Oh god, there's
right there.
bunnies everywhere.
There's bunnies everywhere.
Why
Dead bunnies.
Let me just see if there's anything else that he says or does before he's supposed to. Da-la-la. Yep. Da-la-la. Okay. There's all this background information instead of just the actual information that I want to know what he does, not like what his past was. Okay, I already know that. Okay, yeah, okay. He basically is just trying to steal your shit.
Sounds alright.
That's rude.
Yep. He's trying to steal your shit. And that is where we will we'll pick up next week, hopefully.
I'm gonna steal
Hell
his.
All right, guys. Well, get ready to fight some bunny wabbits because it's wabbit season.
You're a wabbit.
I know. All right, everyone say bye stream. Bye stream.
Bye, stream.
See you guys. Thanks for hanging out.